people? It's your boy Theo Dorsey kicking it with you on this Tuesday. Our boy C-Cat on the ones and twos on the other side of the glass. And as we cruise into a day where we know we're now 9 days away from the kickoff to the NFL season, just a week and a couple sleeps until we get Ravens-Chiefs on a Thursday night to get things cracking in the NFL. Plus, we got college football this weekend, week one, like the official week one, not like week 0 where half of the, fans here in Florida, at least those that cheer for the Noles, want to act like it didn't happen. It's all cracking this week. Football's all officially back. But C-Cat, on a day like today, I'll start you with this. What's the most disgusted you feel? Like, what's something that just makes you feel absolutely like just sick to your stomach? I know for me, it's like the smell of Fruity Pebbles. What? It's random as hell. But the whiff of Fruity Pebbles near me, I don't allow Fruity Pebbles in my house. Whenever somebody's eating Fruity Pebbles in a room with me, I try to exit. The very aroma of Fruity Pebbles, a cereal and a snack that I used to devour as a kid every single day until that one fateful day in second grade in Mrs. Kilgard's class, right? We were learning, I'm sure, long division. I don't know what they teach you in second grade, but I do remember the feeling I had when I reached in my pocket, my little Ziploc bag full of Fruity Pebbles, and tried to eat one of my daily routines, and that time it just didn't go down right. Came right back out. And since that day, I can't stand Fruity Pebbles. It makes me feel absolutely disgusting. What makes you feel hurl-inducing disgusting?
I hate wet food. I despise cleaning out your sink in your kitchen. Maybe if you're did a bunch of baking, or not really baking, maybe a bunch of cooking, and it piles up at the bottom of your sink. I despise wet food. I hate the smell of a dishwasher that for some reason just smells specifically rank. Maybe you didn't run it after maybe 4 or 5 days when you should have done it beforehand. I will gag all the way to the bathroom.
So are you the dishwasher in your house? Do you wash them, hand wash in the sink?
We have a kind of a split duty. I do the dishwasher and she washes the dishes, if that makes sense. If it needs scrubbing and it needs manual labor in the sink, my girlfriend will take care of that, but I load the dishwasher.
It's not much of a job loading the dishwasher. That's really low maintenance stuff.
Be surprised.
I am the one that washes the dishes in our sink. I actually grew up washing dishes. We don't use the dishwasher in our house. Literally, we've moved into it. It's been about 2 years and some change. We have not run the dishwasher once at our crib. I'm not even sure if it works. But I will say this. The one thing I can't stand is people who fill the sink up and put soap in it and let the water get really muggy and whatnot, because I can't reach my hand in. Like you said with the wet food, I can't reach my hand into water that's been soiled by a lot of loose food. So
anything could be in there.
It's absolutely horrific. It makes me feel disgusting as well. So I'm sympathetic with you there. I empathize with you on that end. Something that makes me feel even sicker than Fruity Pebbles or wet food at the bottom of a sink full of dishes is my take on the New York Jets this year. My feeling and my confidence on the New York Jets going into the 2024 season, that when I look at the AFC East and I see the Miami Dolphins, but I see the back end of that schedule. I'm tantalized by the offense like everybody else, but I see what they have in their last 6 games, and it doesn't look good. Then I look at the Buffalo Bills, and Josh Allen is a great quarterback. He's a near elite tier quarterback, but he's turnover prone. He's also a guy that throws his body around a lot. This could be the year where we see him miss some time with how reckless he gets, because he's going to have to put that Superman cape on now that they have taken away a lot of his targets, a lot of his weapons. And then I look at the New York Jets, who everybody is seemingly all the way out on, but I think they are definitively going to win the AFC East this year. And with their light schedule, with the upgrade from Zach Wilson and Trevor Siemian and Tim Boyle up to Aaron Rodgers, he doesn't have to be MVP Rodgers. He just has to be a good quarterback, like a borderline good quarterback. And the New York Jets will walk away with the AFC East this year. My most disgusting take, the thing that I feel worst about going into the year, is how confident I am that the New York Jets are going to win the AFC East. And if you asked me this back in April when we first started, theoretically speaking, and C-Cat, if you asked me this even back at the beginning of last year when everybody was on the Jets hype train, I was all the way against it. I didn't feel like Aaron Rodgers had that kind of juice in him, and I didn't think what they were building with the Jets had the validity to be able to withstand the test of time as well as go out and compete in the AFC. But then I looked at last year, and they won 7 games with the worst quarterback play in the league. Garrett Wilson is a dog at receiver. Breece Hall is one of the best backs in the league. If Aaron Rodgers just walks in there and is a top 10, top 15 quarterback with that defense, they should be clear-cut favorites to win the AFC East. And then what happens in the playoffs, I mean, that's when they start to disappoint you. But my most disgusting NFL take, the one that makes me feel most sick to my stomach, I almost probably, I might need a break early here on the show soon if I don't hurry up and finish talking about it, is the Jets are a lock to win the AFC East. Sorry, Dolphins and Bills fans, but it's all theirs. All Aaron Rodgers has to do is play 13 or 14 games. And even with that, if he misses some time, I believe in Tyrod Taylor. The Jets feel like a lock in the AFC East, and it makes me sick to the stomach to say that. 888-760-3776. 888-760-3776. Again, this is a safe space for you, and you can also comment on the YouTube stream at Theo Speaking or hop on Twitter at ESPN West Palm and let us know what you think. What's the most disgusting NFL take? Going into the season, we haven't kicked off football yet. Nothing has happened, but I know you have some confidence. You have some predictions. You have some feelings inside of you that you want to get out here. It's a safe space. We won't replay these later. What's the most disgusting NFL take you have? Mine is the Jets have the AFC East crown already sewed up, and then it's going to be what can they do in the postseason. Hit us up on the Baptist Health Hotline, 888-760-3776. Are you experiencing foot and ankle pain and need to see an expert in the field? Baptist Health Orthopedic Care is a team of foot and ankle orthopedic surgeons and specialists who are regarded as leaders in their specialty. Visit baptisthealth.net/ortho to learn more today. Baptist Health Orthopedic Care combines its resources of experienced physicians and leading-edge treatments and technology to provide advanced orthopedic, foot and ankle, joint replacement, spine, and sports medicine care. Visit baptisthealth.net/ortho for more information today. Baptist Health Orthopedic Care has offices conveniently located in Palm Beach County through the Florida Keys. Learn more by visiting baptisthealth.net/ortho. See, Kat, I just can't. I can't be a guy that is. I don't want to sound hypocritical at all, because I am fortified in my faith of what the Jets can be this year. But it does make me feel a little bit sick, because I get why everybody's out on the Jets. I mean, we don't know if Hassan Reddick is going to show up to play football for them this year. They just traded for the guy. Aaron Rodgers is coming off of an Achilles, and he's 40-plus years old. But, man, and also Nate Hackett's the OC. Like, that's hard to bargain with. But, man, I'm feeling it. I'm feeling it, and you must feel not too opposed to it because you haven't even said anything yet.
Yeah, I'm naturally kind of a cynic, and when everyone's zigging, I like to zag. I kind of look at the other side of things and opt to go with that side of things. There's a reason why the public is not very good at sports betting, and why they have these bajillion-dollar casinos in Las Vegas is because those guys know a little bit more than the people that bet on sports. But is it true that maybe the Jets are just this year's Lions? Like, the Lions were the hot commodity going into last season, and they just lived up to it. Everyone was high on the Lions, even though the history of losing in Detroit. This year, everyone's kind of high on the Jets, or even though they're losing. It feels
like some people are out on the Jets, though.
They're tired of it. We got a lot of our Jets takes off going into last season, and we're not going to rev up the engines and do it all again for 2024, and I'm kind of on the same side. Like, everything that we wanted to say about the Jets, we said going into last season.
See, but is that a fair take, though? Like, is it fair just because you feel like you have fatigue of talking about a team, and on top of that, maybe the characters involved, like Aaron Rodgers, there's a distaste for him as a character, as a person? And even the Jets organization as a whole, like what they do, a lot of what they do and how they operate has been bad. But I've also seen that same organization in my lifetime, quarterbacked by Mark Sanchez, make it deep into the playoffs to an AFC championship game. Like, that happened. And Mark Sanchez, like, say what you want about Aaron Rodgers at age 40, he's no Mark Sanchez. Right?
Yeah, slam dunk to win the division, I think, is strong for the Jets, or even more likely than not is strong. I think that they got to go through the Bills first. I think the Bills would best the Jets in this season. I think that the Bills are going to win the division over the Jets, over the Dolphins. So I'm not putting them as the favorite to win their division, but I definitely think they are hands down top 2.
I would ask you this, though, because the Bills take is interesting to me because that seems to be where a lot of people are going, and even some of the sports books have the Bills either even odds or with shorter odds than the Jets to win the division. What phase of football do you feel the Bills are better than the Jets at?
Quarterback.
That's it?
The Bills have the second best quarterback in the NFL.
So literally just quarterback, not their running game, not their weapons, not the offensive line, not the entire defense, just quarterback. They're better than, Josh Allen's this much better than Aaron Rodgers, and therefore the Bills are going to be a better team than the Jets.
Well, I think history in the playoffs, just having those games behind their belt. I know Aaron Rodgers has played a lot of playoff games, but with the Bills, that staff has been through the playoffs. They're used to those games. The first time the Jets make the playoffs with this type of team, it was the first time in a long time. How will the rest of the team alongside Aaron Rodgers respond to the moment?
It will be interesting to see that. And I'm not here to tell you the Jets are going to make a long playoff push, especially as a Chiefs fan. I think the Jets might even be one and done once they do reach the postseason, depending on who they draw. I just feel like when I look at the AFC East, and obviously the Patriots aren't even in this conversation, right? We're looking at the Jets, the Dolphins, and the Bills. On paper, everything feels like the Jets have the best team in this division. It's just as the stink around the franchise and also the weird, is Aaron Rodgers really into football stuff? It clouds everything. I was looking at also, this is one of my favorite bets right now in the preseason. Looking at Hard Rock Bet, this is one of those quirky ones. Last team to remain undefeated in this NFL season. They have the Jets at plus 1,500 to be the last remaining undefeated team in this season. And I just look at the first 8 games for the Jets, and I only see 2 games in which the Jets should have some sort of struggle. And that's week 1 against the San Francisco 49ers on the road, Monday Night Football, which I will say the 49ers have had one of the weirdest off seasons. I mean, listen to this. Listen to Jeremy Fowler on SportsCenter talking about, again, it's not just Brandon Ayuk who's not there at camp. It's not just Christian McCaffrey, whose calf injury is a little banged up right now. We'll see what he looks like to start the season. Trent Williams, the left tackle, the most important part of that offense, might not even be there for week 1.
Well, I was told from somebody involved in the situation that he is not going to be available until he gets his contract adjusted. He's got 3 years left on his deal. That could bleed into the regular season with us just being a few weeks away. This is a player who's made about $150 million in his career. He's been taking up golf, kind of staying away from the team, doing his own thing, still training, of course, getting ready for the season potentially. But he's not overly stressed to have to be out there right now, and he's the 4th highest paid left tackle despite being the best the last few years. So the 49ers know they have to do something here, could sweeten the guarantees on his contract. So they're dealing with Brandon Ayuk at the same time. They're trying to get this guy done. So they're hoping he'll be in the lineup here soon.
The disease of me is impacting the 49ers right now. That's why I have them as a team that's going to suffer a Super Bowl hangover, and they're more likely to miss the playoffs than they are to make it back to the Super Bowl. The disease of me is already infiltrating them from their left tackle to their quarterback, Brock Purdy, who's going to be playing for a deal this year, right? Kyle Shanahan has a lot to prove now as a head coach because right after the Super Bowl, you fire your DC, and now it's like, well, what else is going to be left around you for you to blame or scapegoat? And on top of that, you don't have Ayuk in the house. You're going to have a lot of defenders, key defenders, Dre Greenlaw. Their safety, I can't say his last name, but their safety that's Palomino Jr. Those guys aren't going to be there to start the season. Week 1, I like the Jets to be able to upset the Niners on the road. And then on top of that, then they just got to beat the Bills at home. And in their first 8 games, they should be heavily favored and should be able to do it. They'll be their most healthy. They'll be their most at strength on the offensive line. And then Aaron Rodgers got a chip on his shoulder. Like the last time we saw this dude playing football with the proper amount of weapons around him and the proper environment with the Green Bay Packers, back when he had a number 1 wide receiver, he won the MVP. It was a long time ago, but he still has some of that in him.
I also remember the last time, my last memory of Aaron Rodgers that isn't in Jets green was losing to the Lions with nothing to play for, the Lions, at home at Lambeau, and losing that football game. I'm pretty sure they scored less than 20 points in that game.
He had a broken thumb. That was his excuse that year.
Oh, okay.
And again, I'm not a Rodgers defender. I'm not an Aaron Rodgers guy at all. You've known me for a while now, C-Cat. I'm not that kind of guy. But he had a broken thumb. He didn't have Nate Hackett as his OC. He didn't have a number 1 receiver like Devontae Adams or Garrett Wilson. and he damn sure didn't have a guy like Breece Hall in the backfield or that Jets defense. It's a totally different year. It's a totally different world, and I think that we have something is clouding our vision with the New York Jets. I feel disgusting saying it, but yes, they should be favored in the AFC East. They will win that division because they got the best team, and Aaron Rodgers might not be the best quarterback, but he's good enough with that squad to get them over the hump. They won 7 games last year. Trevor Siemian played. Tim Boyle started a game. I think Aaron Rodgers can make something shake with that team. I don't think it's too far out of bounds to feel like the Jets can do it.
And why does it make you sick?
It makes me sick because they're the Jets. It makes me sick because they're the same franchise where Michelle Smallman from Unsportsmanlike 6 to 10 a.m., as she's searching out her next franchise to join, she's doing her fan free agency, the NFL Bachelorette. Jets fans are lining up to tell her, please don't join aboard this train of misery. Like, they know what it's like to be utterly disappointed, to get your hopes up, and to always be down in the dumps at the end of the season. But here's where I counter with that, C-Cat. If the Jets come out the gates this year and they just win 4 out of their first 7 games, they're 4-3, not much of a headline, not much of a letdown. That's kind of like par for course for what you would expect. I think the Jets still suffer that ultimate heartbreak, but it's because the expectations are going to rise when they come out of the gates hot. Aaron Rodgers is going to lead this team along with that defense and along with that running game and the weapons he has in Mike Williams and Garrett Wilson. He's going to lead them out to a great start. And then that's when on Get Up, you're going to see all the greeny takes that are going to be, blowing stuff through the roof. This is the best start since, 1987. Like, you're going to get all of that stuff. People are going to start getting high and mighty. Jets fans are going to start getting boisterous. They're going to start tweeting more. And then the bottom will fall out. But by then, they'll have the division sealed up. It's not going to matter.
That Week 1 Monday Night Football game where the Jets hit the road to take on the 49ers, the Niners are only 3.5-point favorites in that game.
For a reason.
It feels like the public will probably hammer on the Niners because just perception-wise, we almost know what we're going to get with the 49ers, or at least we perceive them to be that way.
Yeah.
Tough-nosed football team, runs the football, well, maybe with no Trent Williams. Who
knows?
Exactly. But I like the Jets in that game already.
No Trent Williams, right? There's a good chance that Brandon Ayuk isn't playing, and if he does, he's probably going to be on a snap count because he has not been around, right? And on top of that, we just saw that they put Eli Mitchell on the injured reserve. He's out. Christian McCaffrey walks in there with a calf injury, and if Deebo Samuel's your number one receiver, he's not a guy that's able to get open against man coverage at all. I'm not super X's and O's guy. That's one thing I definitely know being a fantasy football player. When they play against a team that plays a lot of man, what's the advice everybody gives? You sit Deebo Samuel, or you don't at least use him in DFS. Brandon Ayuk is way more integral to this offense and important than people think he is, and because he doesn't have a cool nickname or huge stats, people underestimate what he means to that offense. His absence will mean a lot more to the 49ers, especially when you got a defense like the Jets coming into town. I just don't understand why there's not more people on the Jets this year to win the division. And I also am incredulous with the amount of faith we're putting in Sean McDermott, Josh Allen, and the Buffalo Bills, who have never shown us anything outside of the years with Stephon Diggs. Josh Allen's going to learn very quickly what it means to be out there weaponless. We'll see how they react to that. 888-760-3776. Which NFL take do you have this year that makes you most sick to your stomach?